We should be.
I'm right here, fellas. I'm just turning the chicken around.
It's all good. It's all good.
Got to turn the chicken, Doc.
Oh man, my joints come out juicy. They don't come out dry.
All right, y'all. We're here live on Facebook Live with Take 6 doing the hashtag Spread Love 2020 challenge. We are back. We took a couple of weeks off first for the initial shooting that took place in Minneapolis with George Floyd. And then we actually took, out of respect, we didn't do it last week because of the funeral. So we're back. And not only are we back, we are back with the bang. We got the master, probably the most iconic DJ of all times, Kid Capri in the house. What's up, Kid?
Capri! Take 6. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing, man?
Oh, good, man. Well, you know, a lot
of love for you, Doc. Man love.
Thank you. I mad love for y'all too, no doubt. Sure.
A lot of people don't know how instrumental you were in actually putting us on the map. Back in the day, you and your boy Mark James, the King 45.
The 5 King.
That the 45 King. That was.
Well, he came after. Once I put it on the mixtape and it became popular in the street, he did that. He put the drums behind it, the tenor drums behind it, because it got so popular in the street from it being on the mixtape, and it became a hit again. And I'm sure y'all probably know later on, but at the time it was happening, y'all probably didn't know what was really going on. Mm-hmm. But it was going on in the street very heavy. Everybody was singing it. There was drug dealers out there singing it. It was crazy. Yeah.
Let me get this straight. You put it on the mixtape as it was on our record?
Yeah, what it was, to tell you the truth, what happened was when I made that tape, I can't remember if it was on the old school 1 or the old school 2. Old school 1, old school 2, 52 Beats, James, but all those tapes was like the biggest tapes of mine that sold a lot to this day. But when I put it on there, I think that tape, I didn't even mean to make that tape. I was in the house and I was sweeping the house and I was playing Rising to the Top, Kenny Burke's record. Right. And I pressed record on the tape deck. And if you listen to the tape, it starts in the middle of the record. I don't have an intro to the tape. It's just because I was making it for myself. And then I end up playing the Take 6 somewhere in there, and it just went with everything what I was doing, man. I loved it so much that I wanted everybody to hear it. And I knew it wasn't a record that was being played on the radio. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying, in their face like that. Right. So I wanted to make sure that everybody heard it. And once I did that, man, you know, I wasn't even aware of what was going to happen. Where I played it because I just loved it so much. But once I did it, it just became a whole nother level. And it went. That tape went platinum in the street. I didn't see the money for it, of course, but
neither did we, so it's all good.
It's even win.
That's all right.
You one of us.
So now, how much stuff? How back in the day, and still to this day, I know you're still working with Mark, the 45 King. How instrumental was he in that whole situation and getting the song into the clubs?
Well, Mark is a real reserved dude. He don't go out in the clubs that much at all, really. He don't really do that. But this guy, man, he makes iconic hits, and then he goes away and comes back and do it again. I'm on the phone with him every day, but the way he treats the music business is like he makes these big wows and then he leaves and he comes back 5 years later with something else. He produced Stand for Eminem. He produced Hard Knock Life for Jay-Z. He produced the 900 number. He produced Ladies First. He was the first producer, the first hip hop producer to produce Madonna. I was the second one. And this dude was so, he done so much, but he's so quiet and reserved. When he did the Spread Love thing, he just did it, put it out. He didn't even tell me about it. He just put it out. And then I just started playing on the radio, playing it in the clubs, and then all the other DJs around started playing it, and then they pressed it up and made it a bootleg record. Somebody pressed it up. It was a bootleg 12-inch.
I remember seeing that back in the day.
Bootleg
we were like, what?
But you know what? That same thing was the same thing that propelled me sitting on the street corner selling them mixtapes. You know, I seen a vision, but I didn't know it was going to get as big as it did. And it just it opened the door for DJs to do what they doing now it showed people the way I performed and the way I did things. It just showed how the DJ business wasn't supposed to be looked at as the bottom, like he's just somebody that play records. I didn't want to be looked at like that. I wanted to be looked at as somebody when I get on stage with anybody that had a platinum record, I'm gonna leave the scar in the building. So with that impact I had with the mixtapes, it was a perfect time, man. The timing was incredible for that record to go on there because I was real hot as a fire with the mixtape. So it definitely
man. You opened that door for real.
Why don't we check out the original before we get into going any further?
Yes, sir.
Man. Yeah,
check it out.
The Joey has that. He's gonna spin it for us.
That's the 45 King one. That's the 45 King version. That's the bootleg. That's the Bozo Miko.
Exactly, and that's the one. That's the only one that we can get our hands on.
And that's it. That's how it was made. It was nothing else. There was no other print. That was the print.
Wow.
I love that.
Yep.
Joey, keep that playing for a minute.
I'll get that for you. I'll get that for you.
Joey, keep that playing for a minute.
And that's
love is what we need. 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 Spread love.
Kill the club.
Spread love.
Go.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
That's what's up.
So what was the immediate reaction when you started playing that in the clubs?
Oh, there's a classic. It was a standard. It was
So
automatic.
Did people know that it was
Automatic.
Take? We were brand new then. You know what I'm saying?
Right, you didn't know. And that's what I'm saying. The same thing happened with Stephanie Mills too. We'll talk about that too. But y'all didn't know. Look who's calling me. 45 King.
What's up?
Hey, what's up, bro?
How you feeling?
They were just playing your song just now. They were just playing the version that you did just now. We're on Facebook right now doing this live, and they just wanted to say what's up.
What's
What's up, man?
How you feeling?
One love, baby.
We're grateful.
They very aware of the impact that happened when I put it on the mixtape and you did the remix. They're very aware of what happened, man. They didn't get it until later on, but it's definitely something that was good, man. So I just wanted to introduce you to him. It's 6 of me. You said God bless all 7 of them.
No, there's 7 of us here.
We'll take the extra one. We'll divide it up.
No doubt.
The Diane Weaves, I just did a remix with the Diane Weaves thing.
Okay.
Oh wow, hello.
Oh, you know what? If you buy your computer, we might have to get you on the Zoom, baby.
Yep.
Let us know. Let us know if you want to jump in.
Get on the. They're gonna send you a link so you can get on the Zoom.
So, Kid, send me his email.
Yeah. It's 45 King. Your email is 45king at 45king. 45king at 45king.com.
There you go.
Everybody got you now.
We have no secrets between us.
Nothing to hear here.
Welcome to the world. Welcome to the world.
Yes, sir. Yes,
He's
sir.
like, bah.
Yep.
All right. So, Claude, I think you were asking the question. What were you saying?
No, I was just asking what the immediate reaction in the club was. And he was saying And you said you were going to talk about the Stephanie Mills thing. What? Give a little bit more about that.
Oh, what happened with Stephanie Mills? There was this mix I did where I took Stephanie Mills acapella of Something the Way You Make Me Feel and put it with this breakbeat called Impeach the President and put it on my mixtape. It became so iconic in the street that Puffy and everybody started making music the way I was making those mixtapes. What happened was it got so big that now that you had to make records with breakbeats under it instead of making it straight R&B. That's when the Puffs came in and all that music changed and the shiny thing. It was because of what I was doing on the mixtapes. It was because of everything that was going on them that they went and took it and made actual records with it. But Puff told me all the time, yo, everything you did is the reason why I did what I did with music. And I knew that. I just never said it. But it definitely influenced the streets in a big way, to the point where I got my first album deal, I got my first record, my first tour, my first radio deal. And this all happened because I decided to sit on that street corner and make these authentic tapes, and the way I sing music and the way even on my Sirius show right now, the way I do my Sirius show on the radio, I just see it in a way that a lot of people may not see it. You know, my dad was a soul singer. My granddad used to play trumpet for Dizzy Gillespie, Count Basie, Miles Davis, all the jazz greats. I have the very trumpet that he bought in the 1940s. I still have it. Yeah. So, my dad, he made a lot of records. He was the first soul singer to sing with a Latin band, the LeBron Brothers, a very prominent band right now. But he made 2 albums with them. He went to school with them back in the day, so he did these 2 albums with them, and then he started doing this Northern Soul music, and he went on from that. So it always have been around me. My daughter right now, Mina Love, she's doing her thing with it. So, I always been around it, man. I always stayed in touch with it and in tune.
Man, I gotta ask you, man. I gotta ask you this. You have obviously changed the face of music around the world, literally, single-handedly. What you have done has made everything just totally different. How does it feel to know that you've made that kind of impact on the entire world?
You know what? I'm such a grounded dude, man, and humble dude, and just happy to be. You know what? That I understand what I've done. People always remind me. I understand, and I'm very blessed, and to be able to have that, to have that. And God worked in a way that it could have went a different way. I was around in the street where it was a lot of different things going on, and my choices was to not do what they did. My choices was to stay in the music pocket and try to get my message out that way, and it worked out. It could have went a whole different way. So to be in that position, I pretty much try to take care of it. When a person asks for a picture, I don't care if I'm eating, had a bad day, whatever the case may be, they will never know it. They're going to get that picture. They're going to get that autograph. They're going to get that time, even if it's for a second. It doesn't matter. So at the end of the day, these are the things that come with it. When you get in the show business, you may have days that you don't feel like being bothered, and I'm sure y'all know that. I'm sure y'all, of course y'all know that.
Yeah. But I tell you what, man, we can relate. We can totally relate because, what we've done made acapella a thing,
You know what's so...
Go ahead.
Oh,
what's so great? 45 is trying to call me. Hold on, let me see. What's so great is that you forget. Just go on your email and press the thing, the link, and then when it comes up, it asks you to put your audio in and all that.
Okay, guess what?
Hey, Kid.
You don't have Zoom. Oh, you had to download Zoom. Oh, okay. Well, go ahead. He's gonna call you now.
We're gonna be here for a minute. We're gonna be here.
All right. We're gonna be here for a minute.
Hey, you know what I want to do, Kid? So we got a lot of people. I'm watching the feed on Facebook. There's a lot of people who obviously are here for Take 6. There's a lot of people who know who you are, but for the people who don't know who you are for whatever reason, can you kind of give just a little bit of a discography of who you are in general, so people know? Because you're iconic, man. I would love for everybody to have an idea.
Pipsqueak, relax. I'm doing an interview. Calm down, Jazz, please.
Jazz.
This is live TV, y'all.
Yeah.
There he is.
In the house.
We got 45 in the house, and we got the doggy.
And we got
It's 2 of them.
I want in. I want to be a part of it.
Okay. So all 8 of us are in here now. Next
10. Stay.
Okay.
All right.
Happy Grammys.
All right, fellas.
So,
All
so
right,
we
now,
back. We back. So here we go.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, I've been DJing all my life. I'll give you the fast forward story. I got to the SNS Club. People didn't know who I was. When I got there, I started putting mixtapes out. Those mixtapes propelled me to go and get Def Comedy Jam, my first album deal, the first radio deal, all the stuff that I mentioned. If you've seen Def Comedy Jam, we put some of the biggest comedians that's out today back then out. Well, they didn't have no name then. We started them from the ground up, and we ended up just going out. Some of them, was doing good. Some of them was working, but most of them, when they came to Def Comedy Jam, once they got there, they went and blew up to Steve Harvey's level, Jamie Foxx level, Martin Lawrence, and so on and so on. So that really put me in people's living rooms. And once that happened, like I said, they didn't really care. People didn't really care about what DJs did because they looked at them as DJs playing, music. It's just that. And once I brought a certain style to it and was able to be on the TV and then go and do the tour with Def Comedy Jam, everybody got a chance to see what I really did. So I became kind of like a one-man band. And with that, I didn't need to be behind a group. I didn't have to, I would never accept being on the side of a stage. They put me in DJ booths. I wanted to be in the center stage, just like a group was, just like a regular band was, treated just like it was a regular show. And that's what I did. And that, to this day, it just helped me. It took care of me all my life, and I'm grateful for it. So with that, also I became a Grammy Award producer.
I was about to ask you, are DJs are they eligible for Grammys?
Yeah. I won a Grammy with Jay-Z.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, Hard Knock Life. 45 King gave Hard Knock Life to me for my album. I gave it to Jay-Z, and that's how the album blew up. But I put also my
That's
record.
awesome.
Wait a minute. We didn't even know about that saying. Explain that a little bit and bring Mark into the conversation as well.
Yeah. I was on tour. I was on the Puff tour, and Mark had gave me that beat on the plate, and I would play it after I would do my first show, and then I come back out after the intermission to do the second show, and I would start with that beat. And people was running up with me like, "Kid, how did you get the beat behind the Annie, and how'd you do that?" And then I think the third show, Jay-Z was probably watching my show, and he ran up in the middle of the arena. He said, "Yo, what's that?" I said, "You want it for your album?" He was like, "Yeah." I said, "All right," and I put Mark on the phone with him right there. And 2 weeks later, Hard Knock Life came out, biggest record of his career.
Wow.
Woo!
So when I said at the very beginning, when I said that original New York street feel that you did to the new remix, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's that same exact vibe. Thank you, 45, my man.
Yeah, man. So and, I'm very proud of that. Very proud of that. I could have kept it for myself. It might not have turned out the same way, but knowing that you gave Jay-Z his biggest record of his whole career, that opened a lot of doors for him to do a lot of different things. And not saying that he wouldn't have done great without it, of course, but just knowing that fact, it's a great thing. And then 20 years later, I ended up doing the Kendrick Lamar album, the Damn album, which went the only hip hop album in history to win a Pulitzer Award. So I'm very grateful, man.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Wow.
So let's bring 45 in here. The King. When did you guys first hook up?
You gotta unmute yourself, Mark.
Yeah, Mark, you're muted. You're muted.
Is he there?
Look at your preferences, because I don't have you muted. You're. Wouldn't it be funny if Kid walked right into the other box?
Sorry, man. I got 3 things going on over here.
And I literally thought you were gonna jump into his box, man.
That would have been hilarious. In the meantime, while he's figuring it out, why don't we play the new one? Because people want to hear it. Can we play the new one, Joey? There we go.
Spread love to the world, baby. Spread love to the world, baby. All boys, all girls, baby. Spread love to the world, baby. About to take you on back. About to take you on back. Kick Capri and take 6. Take 6 and kick Capri. Let's go. I know somebody who declares got it made. He wanted it. but it's just a masquerade. He's a modern day deceiver, but became false deceiver. What a shame. Whoa, it's lucky. And then there's zero sister Santa, ain't she sweet? She gets the word, next thing you know, it's in the street. By the time it's been repeated, all the truth has been defeated. Oh, what a shame. It's another game. Lord, seems like everything we hear is just a tale. But I ain't got nothing, never, it's all out. Let us spread your light. Got to spread love. To midnight sky. I've often said now, Ruben and me. Oh, I wish we had much more. Love is what we need. Da, da, da. When there's a family, but we'll just call them green. They have subscriptions to the gossip magazine with a twisted sense of vision. They treat rumors like religion. What a shame. It's the same old. Well, yeah, these days it seems like everything we hear just a tale. But I believe in something that will never fail. Yeah. Instead of spreading lies, baby. Oh, keeping love, love, open in need. But I wish we had much more. Love is what we need, what the world needs. I'm telling you, love is what we need. Oh, what we need, what the world needs. We need love, what we need. Brenda, and a spirit light. Spread love, you know the truth is love. I wish we had much more. Hey, I said I'm spreading I'm gonna say hello, Robin and me, John. That's what we need. But I wish we had much more. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
I think I fixed it. I think I fixed it.
Absolutely, you did.
He's in the house.
You're in the house now.
Right. Hold on, I want to play how can I play something? For real.
Claude will hook you up.
We'll get to it.
Get to it, absolutely. So
Yes, sir.
go back. Now that we have you here, 45. What what you playing, man?
Oh yeah, I know that.
Who's that?
It's
Hello.
Diane Reed. Me, Mark, and Murphy.
I'm all part of that. I was one of the writers on that mug.
And I loop it up, and I'm a DJ. So
Yo.
Can you hear that? You heard that?
I'm liking it.
I can't hear you now.
You can't hear us at all?
Oh yeah, I can hear that.
Hello.
We hear you.
Can you hear me?
We hear
Yeah,
you.
I can.
Yep.
Oh, now I know. Hello? Okay, you know what happened? I got to switch over. For y'all to hear that, I had to switch it over.
I got you. You hear us now, though.
45 is bringing that Teddy Riley vibe.
Yeah, though, right?
Yeah, we did. We did.
We
But
heard
you know
it.
what? You know, 45. What I remember is catching you back in the day doing the record roulette kind of thing.
Okay, you seen that?
Go in the record store and just get any old record and then make a mixtape out of it. Do a mix on it.
I didn't get too lucky with that.
No, you did your thing. You did your thing.
I asked, I said, can I clown this whole thing? Can I throw the records around and can I, act stupid? They said, go ahead, do what you want to do. And I
break the records.
Right.
I love it. I love it, man. Well, we appreciate you, man. We thank you for everything that you've done for us, man. It's between the two of you guys, you help put us on the map. That's for sure.
That's right. We are so grateful.
Oh,
Thank
man.
Thank you.
Kid is one of my angels. So he's definitely been one of my angels. So I look at
Appreciate that.
What else? Queen Latifah told me about Take 6 on a plane.
Oh, that's what's up.
Girl, yeah.
Queen?
I remember, right? Yep.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
You know, he's the one that brought Latifah out.
Oh,
He's the
Really?
one. Yeah, that's
The
45
Shakers are here.
He produced Ladies First.
Wow.
Wow.
That's right.
So that's what I was gonna say. Since you're on the thread now with us, give us a little bit of your background, man, because people are on here wondering who you are and whatnot. We know, and come on. But whatever you're doing, talk closer to whatever device you're.
Testing the sound. 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Good.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I'm damn near 60. I'll be 60 next year. And I'm from the old school, like Kid. And from the Bronx, uptown, left-handed. So there you go. I'm a lot crazy. I'm not a little crazy. I'm a lot crazy. Let's see, what else? I'll probably cry if I met Philip Bailey. I'll probably cry.
Wow.
Who else? Earth, Wind & Fire used to be my favorite group. Okay. Movies, I probably cry too. And now I listen to Steely Dan all the time.
Come on now.
Why?
Big fans too, bro.
Because I'm black. That's why I slept on Steely Dan for so long. I mean, they used to sample them, and a lot of people know Steely Dan because of Peg, because they would see all that stuff got sampled. And I just slept on it. Now, I went to the hospital and I was listening to Steely Dan. My favorite Steely Dan record is Deacon Blues. Used to be Deacon Blues.
Yeah.
Now it's, I like them all. Not most of them. I'm shocked that I like Steely Dan.
Yo, the Gaucho is my
Gaucho.
record,
Gaucho.
We lived on Gaucho, man.
Gaucho. Okay. Actually, some Steely Dan records make me cry because I get so happy. It just made me so fucking happy. Excuse the language. Made me happy.
That's all right. Be real, baby.
Well, I got a question. I got a question for both you guys, for both Kid and for you, Mark. So you guys have been around in this game for such a long time. Where do you see radio going right now? Is it doomed to be obsolete? Where's it going right now? Because I know, Kid, you got your show Block Party every weekend.
Yeah, the good thing about my show, well, as far as regular radio, I don't think I will go to regular radio because I wouldn't want to be stuck in having to do what regular radio calls you to do. With Sirius, with what I do on Sirius, I'm able to move any kind of way I want, play what I want. I can play 20 of my own songs back to back and nobody say nothing. Right. Nobody can say nothing. Right. So it's a difference and it's to a wider scale. But I'm not saying that radio is not important, but I don't think radio dictates what goes on anymore. I think the internet is what makes everything be what it is. And radio, you still need radio on a bigger scale of things because not everybody's on the internet. Not everybody listens to music on the internet. But the internet is the bigger platform, and you'll put a song out and get 9 million views on something, 20 million views on something, and the radio never played the record once. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we at right now. If you get a record on the radio that's moving, fine. That's a feather in your cap. But if you don't, it ain't like it's an all be all. Just like now, like you don't have to wait for a record company to put your record out after they shelf you for however long they're gonna shelf you or whatever the case is. You put the record out at a press of a button, make the song, put the song out. And you know, and it goes. And if it goes, it goes, and you know, all that money comes to you. And that's where you at with it. You may not sell a platinum record, but if you sell 100,000 records, if you make enough streams to where it could, you know, what with the streaming thing is a little different. I still don't really understand it too much, but if you do enough, the point is that it all comes to you. You ain't dealing with, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to deal with record labels and deal with a bunch of nonsense. You know what I'm saying? It all comes to you. Yes, of course, having a record label and a machine behind you, you know, that puts you in a different place. But if you have a good enough record, that could put you in the same place and probably in a better place because, like I said, it all comes to you and you could be in control of what you do.
Yep.
You know, so it depends on how it works out, how God makes it work out.
You got anything to add to that, Mark?
I like the guard party. I like that guard party. I'm just happy to wake up, and I'm glad my girlfriend tolerate me. And that's about, you know. And I don't know. I'm not that political. I don't really care. People get mad when I say that. And I'm hard to interview because I don't care about a lot of shit and a lot of, you know. I just want everybody to be happy and safe.
Well, that, you know what, that's the one thing that we can all appreciate, and I'm sure I speak for everybody around the world.
Everybody's different, you know what I'm saying?
Everything that I've seen about you and I followed you for a lifetime is really you approach it as an artist. I do what I like, I do what makes me feel good, and hopefully that's gonna make somebody else feel good.
Right.
That's Mark all the way around.
Right. I love everybody. Like I'm not on anybody's dick. I'm on everybody's dick. I talk to people the way I want you to talk to my mother.
Exactly.
And that's that. You know, so wow, I'm blessed. Wow, thank you so much.
My man.
So Kid, I got a question. You talked about how you got to the point finally where you wanted to be recognized as an artist, and you're not going to be on the side of the stage. You're not going to put me in the back somewhere or whatever. But there was a process that got you from where you started selling, you know, records on the street, basically to that point where everybody acknowledged you and you could call your own shots. And to me, that speaks to your perseverance. What do you say to these, you know, a lot of the artists that are up and coming right now, or the people that have an idea and they're very different, because you were doing something that nobody else was doing at the time, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't just that you were doing something that nobody else was doing. It's that you had this X factor that you weren't going to take no for an answer. You weren't going to quit, however long it took. So a lot of people don't have that muscle, that faculty in them. Is that something that you can learn, or is that something that's just innate? You know, that hustle, that ability to remain consistent until your time comes, if it ever comes.
Yeah. Very good question. I refuse to let anybody tell me when to come and go. I refuse to, I embody, I gave my whole life to this. So, I embody it in a way that many might not, different than somebody that might have started 5 years ago. I've been around this since I was a kid. So when I did get a name and people started knowing me and I was on this big television show and all these different things, it was like a regular thing. It wasn't like I became this big-headed person or anything like that. I'm more about the fans and more about taking care of them and making sure that they happy more than myself. I look at myself as if I'm going to watch myself on a stage and how I would feel if I was watching myself. So with that, it's always it's just that. It's not more than that. It's I embody it. I've been around it all my life. It's in my blood. So and when you know that you have something, when you have something, you can maneuver a certain way, and it gives you a certain kind of power, because not only the talent is there, the personality is there, and the knowledge is there. So nobody can never get nothing past you or make you feel like you're less than. If you don't know your worth, nobody else is going to call it. You know what I'm saying? You have to know your worth. And that was my thing, that you ain't going to treat me like the dude you're going to put in the booth Would you put Jay-Z in a booth? No, treat me like Jay-Z. That's how I look at it. I may not be as big as Jay-Z, I may not be his name, but I look at it as I'm the Kid Capri, the Jay-Z of DJs. I'll look at it like that. You know what I'm saying? And even if I was on the bottom of the totem pole, is a certain amount of respect that I'm just going to demand. But you have to be good at what you do. You have to treat people fairly, treat people good in order to get that type of thing. Numbers I was getting to get paid to this day, you know, the DJ, it was unheard of at one time. Now you see EDM DJs getting 100,000, crazy numbers. But I was doing some big numbers early on when DJs were getting paid $50.
Opening the door. Opening the door.
Yeah.
So you said you had that same hunger when before you got the name.
Yeah. The hunger never leave. Like even after the name, after all the accolades, everything I've done, I still feel like I'm just starting. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's how I feel every day. It's like, I'm just starting. I'm always looking for the new thing to do. And I'm always figuring out the thing ahead of time. Like, I didn't start doing the IG thing when the quarantine hit. I was doing that in 2015, 2016. I started doing that. Def Comedy Jam, we took it all the way back to the beginning. You know, instead of after blowing up, we went back to the beginning and got comedians that nobody knew. The mixtape thing, nobody knew knew me then. I sat there and said, you know, my whole thing was always go, no matter how big you get, wherever your name go back to the beginning and start over, and then build that and start over and build that. So that's where I'm at with it. You know what I'm saying? And that worked out for me.
So,
Hey, I got a question for you.
Go ahead, Joey. Go ahead.
You spoke earlier about your message, and I'm sure that your message is articulated in a large way through your music. With everything that's going on, what is your message? What would you say to today's climate? What's going on right now? What would be your message that you would express on your stage?
I say this. I think we had a tipping point. I think that out of all the things that happened, all the things and all the years that it happened, I think this thing here was the final thing, was to the point where this is the thing everybody saw. There's no questioning about it. There's no hearsay. There's no, you know, well, did he do this? And there's one side against the other side, and you know, you don't know the story. Everybody's seen this. Everybody.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? To the point where there were more white people in protests than there were black people in some places. You know what I'm saying? So that right there is the changing of the guard, because what's next? Revolution? You know what I'm saying? What's the next thing that's going to happen? So if you don't get it now, when will you get it? You know what I'm saying? And I think to the point, it got to the point when you take a mouse and you put him in the corner, he's going to jump at you. If he feels he's too cornered, they can't get out. And that's exactly what happened with what was going on. Yes, I'm not cool with tearing up the neighborhood, but I totally understand the reason why. I totally understand the reason why, because, you know, it's the frustration. It's the day in and day out of stepping outside and not knowing if you're going to be alive from people that's supposed to protect you. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, and then, you know, just other disrespectful things a lot of cops have done. And, and there's a lot of great cops out there, cops that do their job, and they're very mad and pissed off at what's going on because they didn't get signed up for that. You know what I'm saying? But this is the job, and it's sad that as a whole is looked at under a microscope, but it is what it is. And for years, this has been going on. So at some point, people are going to, cause a destruction. And next, I don't know. It could be worse. It could be to the point where there is no point of return. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, they just got to figure out how they're going to situate these cops, all these Karens and all these people that feel like they're entitled and feel like they run the world and feel like, they're above everybody. They got to figure out how they're going to deal with that and level the playing field and make everybody be the same, because if it don't, it could be the end of the world, man.
And that's why also we commend you for the voice that you've been using all this time. That your voice for a large degree has been in your music and in your work, and we commend you for
Appreciate
being one of those voices, man, that influence the people who listen.
Yeah, man.
Huge responsibility.
Try to
That's
stay
really
on it.
what
Try to stay
That's
on it.
really what Spread Love is all about. Most people don't know. I hit Kid, and 2 days later, he calls you back and says, "Check the email."
Done. Quick, fast, in a hurry.
Done. Much
I was
love.
honored. I was honored to get the call, man. I was honored because, like I said, especially when you told me that you knew what happened with the record being on the mix, that was more to me. You know what I'm saying? That meant a lot to me. The thing with the Stephanie Mills thing is the same thing. When it happened with Stephanie Mills, I didn't even finish the story with Stephanie Mills. When the thing happened with Stephanie Mills, for years she didn't know what really happened. So a guy, Amp Harris, that I've been doing the Black Expo shows for the last, I don't know, maybe 20 years with him or a little less. He started managing Stephanie. So I told her, he knew about the story. So he told her, and one time I was doing Indiana, well, last year, she flew out to Indiana on a surprise. I didn't even know she was coming. I never met her before, nothing like that. We ended up doing it live right there. And I posted it and it just went viral. But the reason why it went viral was because so many people knew where that came from, knew what happened when it happened. So to see it live and for the first time, not practiced or nothing, just doing it, and she was actually there, just did something for the people, man. So, I have a movie coming out. We're doing a movie right now. It's called Mr. Every Ever. It's a lot of things in that movie that people don't know. A lot of things in that movie that people are gonna be informed about. And it's gonna be real. So it's a lot. We're working on it. We're still working on it. There's a lot. We've done a lot though. We've done a lot. My whole thing is more than just the story. I wanted it to be cinematic.
I'll call you back.
All right,
okay.
Hey man, I go back to the day where we actually met. We crossed paths on Quincy Jones Back on the Block project, man.
Oh yeah. Well, I was on. I wasn't on Back on. I was on Q's Juke Joint.
Juke Joint. I knew it was one of them. I knew we were both on the same project because
Yeah.
I was
we
proud
did. I did the
we knew what you had done then. We knew. And we appreciated it then.
I was on the record with. I was gassed up because I was on the record with Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles and Bono. I was I was in the studio with Quincy Jones and Rod Templeton. Yeah. And I'm sitting at the board and they both got their arm around me. One got their arm around me, one got their arm around me, and I'm sitting there looking at both of them.
See,
like this.
I made it.
That's
couldn't believe it.
That's what
I couldn't believe it, man. Like just sit there with them dudes, man. It was amazing. And then to go on the album and be on there with Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles, it was like, wow.
See,
hey, man, I got a question for you.
That's right. Y'all was on that album. Yeah.
I got a question for 45 and Kids. So you play our manager for like you were a manager for a weekend. And you would come up to us and say, fellas, you got to do this track. Or fellas, you got to hook up with this artist. Who have you always wanted to see Take Six sing with or do a duet or production with or two?
I don't have enough time. Damn. There's not enough time. You gotta be quick. For me.
Who?
I gotta think about that.
Yeah, that's you gotta think about that. But you know what would be real dope to see y'all do something with? Boys the Men.
Okay.
Well, we did something with them. But it was kind of a.
It was a doo-wop thing that they
it wasn't really what either one of us did. So it didn't really.
Okay. Who would you see yourself want to do something with?
I would love to do something with like Jill Scott or somebody in the end,
neo soul
vibe, somebody like that with the producers or something.
I think this is a situation where everybody is right. Whoever they say, we all right when we all say somebody.
Right.
Hey, how about Philip Bailey?
Nah, he sucks. No. No. No, I like I love Philip Bailey. But
we love him too, man. We love what he did back in the day for real.
You ever met him?
Oh yeah, we met him.
Good guy.
He was the first person that I actually tried to sing as high and back then I couldn't. But you know, he
Yo,
made me
how
cry.
do y'all sing like that? How do y'all make yourself sound like that? Like it's the intricates and it's just you forget that there's no music. It sounds just like music. How do y'all do that, man?
I explain that shit to you later.
It's crazy, man.
I'm later on how to do it.
It's crazy.
We leave no stone unturned.
Actually, when I was a kid, I used to sing Michael Jackson's first album.
Wow.
On stage.
Wow.
That's what's up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I sang Ain't No Sunshine.
Love it.
I sang Don't Take Your Love Away From Me. You know when he hold that note for a long time?
Yeah.
And you go, ooh, I did all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I knew how to sing. And then when Hey Girl, Come and Get It, but I still got it. Hey Girl, Come and Get It. That's when I knew I lost my voice. When that record came out, I knew that I couldn't sing that high anymore.
It was over.
Yeah, it was over for me. Yeah. So I had to sing on the lower key.
I admit that it's interesting that we're all big Earth, Wind, and Fire fans. I don't even know how you cannot be an Earth, Wind, and Fire fan. Same with Steely Dan, Donald Fagen.
Right.
But I guess
I just got into Steely Dan.
Okay,
that's just got in.
Right.
Oh,
but,
man.
I used to be yeah.
I'm glad you finally made it because we've been with him a long time.
Welcome to the party.
Yeah.
So when you ask how do we do these things, of course, for us, it's really just taking in all of this great music, and then as it comes through you, it's filtered with your touch on it, and it becomes what it is. So we can't say that we really created anything. We just recreated a sound that we felt was fun for us. You know what I mean?
What y'all do is different. It's something different. It's a different thing. Like, let me ask y'all a question. If people sampled y'all, have people ever sampled y'all?
Oh, yes.
A lot.
You had to clear them?
There's samples out there right now that we
That's
got
great.
cases with.
My Porsche's in the dealership right now because we can't get paid from our samples.
Why not?
No, you still gotta chase it down.
We working on a trust.
We were hoping you could tell us.
All my Porsche's in the dealership right now behind samples.
I never put out the Spread Love with the drums on it, right? Somebody else did. I know
Right, so Bootleg
George. His name is Bootleg George.
Bootleg George.
And he also put out the 45.
That's what's up.
Right.
Man,
no, because it's for us. It goes. You know, it's a double-edged sword because if it wasn't for that bootleg, that underground club hit would have never happened. So for us, you know, we owe our success to a large part to Bootleg George.
Right. Because I caught his ass at the pressing place. He said, yo, you sampling my shit. He said, no, I ain't doing no. I said, all right.
That's
No problem. I just look at his promotion. I looked at it. I don't know.
We'll take a check from him too, though.
Huh?
We'll take a check from him too, though.
Yeah, you know, go get him.
Yeah, man.
But this is a big part of that question, kid. Because for us, you know, if we were to hook up with Kendrick Lamar, that'll be something great as well. I mean, for us to actually take it and do kind of what 45 the King is known for. Take things that people think are completely disparate ideas, put them together as one thing, you come up with something new. That's
right.
Right. That's it. I like Basha. I love Basha. You know who Basha is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I love. Okay, now here's a question. Does she harmonize crazy or what? I can't even. You ever come across somebody? Damn, I can't get that harmonization. I can't even hear it.
You know about
I always know what she's doing.
Huh?
You know about
I always know what she's doing, but I'm looking forward to the day to actually meeting her. We've never met.
Exactly.
And I've been a big fan of hers since the early '90s. So we speak the same harmonic language. I know what she's up to.
Okay, so there is sometimes there's a harmonization that can I make up a new harmonization to go with something? Yes, right or no?
You could. I mean, you know, in the end, it's about being something that other people feel is musical and entertaining, and it speaks to them. I mean, there's even like in Eastern based music, there's a whole different level of tonality that we're not familiar with.
Tonality, wow.
That in the West we're not as familiar with. So it just depends on, you know, what is going to be accepted by the masses, and from that point on, you know, it's your job to make it popular.
Trey Lorenz is a nice person and a great singer.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm about?
Absolutely.
Mark, you know we on Facebook, right?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So what that mean? What that mean?
Everybody's watching you right now.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Huge audience.
Wow.
You thought it was just a regular call, huh?
But you dropping nuggets though. It's all good.
And we love y'all for it. But again, we say we're with two masters right now. We thought we were gonna have our day completely made when Kid Capri said, "Hey man, I want to be down with y'all." But then to have Mark, the 45 King, on deck. What?
Wow, take six. Wow.
Love it. Love it.
Thank you guys.
Dope.
We should
So what's the
play-
next thing that's gonna happen with y'all, man?
The next thing? Oh man, we're gonna keep doing this. We've got a bunch of people lined up who've done remixes, and they're all over the place, man, which is really, really cool. All over, as far as just not just geographically all over, but all over the map musically.
Right, right.
That's cool. So every Tuesday we're gonna be doing this. And if you want to jump back on with us, and
But I'm good luck though. I'm good luck.
Of course.
For sure.
That's what I'm trying to get you to hook us up. Where should we go next?
Oh, well, you know, kid, well, you know my email address. Isn't it so hard? Don't I have the hardest email address?
we want some rappers to get on this too.
Yeah.
You know? and
I don't know who.
take
I
it
wouldn't know who did.
For sure. For sure.
I don't know what rappers. I don't know.
Man, I think the biggest thing right here is that, you know, the message of spread love is not just our message anymore. I've seen it up all over the place, and it's so what the world needs right now. If there's anything that can change it, it is love. So, you know, we did this ages ago, and you guys helped put this thing on the map ages ago, but it is never irrelevant. It is always relevant. And
Right.
it's so important. So thank you so much for what you've done.
Absolutely.
Yes,
We're gonna keep doing this. You want to know what Take Six is gonna do? We're gonna continue to do this, and
I hope so, man.
Many more platforms.
Good.
And
Good to hear that.
ultimately, what you did, Kid, is going to be part of a collaboration with just about every celebrity that we know. Really get this love thing to spread around the world for real.
Well, call me. I'm here, man. You need me. I'm here. I'm sure we're gonna bump heads again musically.
Can I play something? Listen.
All right, Mark. 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 Mark.
I don't think he can hear you, kid.
Thank you.
Different.
He unto himself.
He said
So,
different.
what we should
Tell
do?
people that's crazy. They don't want to fucking believe me. Oops, sorry.
That's all right.
Always is. Always is. My man.
All right, fellas.
Thank you guys for hooking us up. And before we go, Kid, we're going to play it one more time on the way out the door.
Let's go.
Thank
Nice
you.
kid, love you, kid. You know that.
Spread love to the world, baby. Spread love to the world, baby. All boys, all girls, baby. Spread love to the world, baby. About to take you on back. About to take you on back. Kick Capri and Take Six. Take Six and Kick Capri. Let's go.
I know somebody who declares got his name. He won't admit it, but it's just a masquerade. He's a modern day deceiver with a case false fever. What a shame. Whoa, it's a game. humans and there's zero sister Sarah. Ain't she sweet? She gets a word, next thing you know, it's in the street. For the time it's been repeated, all the truth has been defeated. Oh, what a shame. It's another game. Lord, seems like everything we hear is just a tale. But I ain't got nothing, never it's all out. Let us spread your light. Got to spread love. To midnight sky. I've often said now, Ruben and me. Oh, I wish we had much more. Love is what we need. When there's a family, but we'll just call them green. They have subscription to the gossip magazine. With a twisted sense of vision, they treat rumors like religion. What a shame. It's the same old. Well, yeah, these days it seems like everything we have just to tell. But I believe in something that will never fail. Yeah. Instead of spreading lies, way. Oh, things but I wish we had much more. Love is what we need, what the world needs. I'm telling you, love is what we need. Oh, what we need, what the world needs. We need what we need. Spread love. I wish we had much more. Hey, I said I'm spreading but I wish we had much more. That's what we need.
I'm used to the back at the end.
Right quick, I want everybody to know the stems for Spread Love. This is the Spread Love hashtag Spread Love 2020 challenge. The stems are on the Take 6 website. Take 6 official is all of our social media, and we're spreading love, everybody. We appreciate you guys for coming aboard, helping us out, and we are really going to do the massive collaboration with all the celebrity artists that we know, and even some of the amateurs, musicians that have been around the world sending us in the remixes. We're going to put all that together in one main collaboration and really show that love is not only needs to be, but is spreading around the world. You guys are a big part of it. We appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Bless,
Thank you.
be blessed, be
How's
blessed.
your brother doing?
He's good, man.
Fine's good. Good.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
You guys are part of it from the beginning, and you will be a part of the collaboration before it's all over. Thank you so much. Love you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Love y'all too, man. Thank you.
Thanks everybody being here.
Peace, everybody.
God bless.
All right.
All right.